a bonus training today, and it feels so foggy out. Look at this.
It's actually, I think there's a little condensation.
Okay, so it's really foggy out behind us. We are still in Deer Valley. We are in a hotel room, and I just want to say, let your income generating activities be easy. We want to talk about sales today, and we want to really, I would say just not demystify it, but you got to be good at it. You got to be good at generating people to help, which is leads, and you got to be good at enrollment and selling. And we've met a lot of people who are very good at selling, but they still have money issues, which means that they have a system break in the way that they're actually focused on generating income. So we're letting it be easy and being a demonstration of that while we're here in Utah, Deer Valley, Utah. And I had this whole thing that I just wanted to share this morning, which was I shared with you guys in that jumped in VIP. And VIP, just FYI, we actually opened up the chat. So some people might be joining us in this Zoom. You guys who are watching us on social right now, we added a link if you wanted to join us on the Zoom for today's bonus training this Saturday. So feel free, you can come join us. There should be a link above for you guys on social media. If you want to get off social media and you want to come onto the Zoom with us and see what some of our VIPs are talking about and kind of bring the community together for today's training, we can do that. So we're going to train for 1 hour. We're going to train around sales, and our hopes are that we can, I don't know if subliminally or just get inside your brain and not make money be or selling be this dirty word, right? So selling doesn't have to be a dirty word. It's actually a demonstration of how well do you listen to other people and how valuable are you to them based on whatever it is that you offer. Okay. And so you guys on Zoom that already heard this, I just want to share this really quickly. We were skiing yesterday and I left my glove and my glasses up in the room here and found them when I came back from skiing. And what we realized was that we're thankful that we had money because money didn't ruin my day yesterday when I had to buy a new pair of ugly gloves that didn't match my outfit.
They were not ugly.
They're ugly. They're brown. They're ugly.
They're actually, I think, purple.
They are purple, but purple and red don't go together very good.
No, it's a shade of it, so it's all good. I thought
Anyway,
it looked good.
Thanks, babe. But I had to buy these, I don't know, $200 or $300 pair of gloves. I didn't look at the price, but I know that they were a couple $100. And then goggles that I already just bought goggles in December here at this same hotel, which again are like $200 or $300. So I chose to spend the money instead of being frustrated or search the entire hotel for an hour for my stuff to see if I dropped it somewhere, because I valued getting on the slopes with our friends. Okay. And so I share that because how many moments, let's do a poll real quick. How many moments has money stolen your peace? Right? Like if you were to put a number on that, what would that be? How many moments do you think, even in the last year, how many moments do you think money has stolen your peace? Thousands, can't even count. Thousands, can't even count. Thousands, multiple, too many to count. I mean, when did we say that was okay? Right? Like as if that is okay. And, when you're growing companies, one of the things that you look at to systemize is you say to yourself, and even in relationships, if you keep having the same problem over and over and over again, you must systemize it. So sales there's a system to sales. So you guys who jumped into the business and life package that we made offers starting last Wednesday, I want to share something with you. The only reason why I teach you how to build lists is because there's too many people who think it's only about sales. It's also about generating people that you can serve. And I don't want you walking around the mountain that I'm on and seeing, I wonder if there's anybody out here I can help, and just like randomly by luck, right? See if you actually generate income. You've got to have a system to generate leads. That's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sales, and we're going to jump into this right now. So get a number inside your head about if you were to take the coaching today and you could generate income today, what would that number be? Go in the chat and tell us. What would that number be? Like, let's get intentional. If you were to just get out of your own way, even if you're busy today, it's Saturday, so you shouldn't be too busy. But even if you're busy today, what would you love to generate today? 1 million today, Joan, unless you're doing an event, right? So you might be doing an event, and that is definitely doable. 20,000 today, 2,500 today, $500 today, 1,000 today, 5,000 today, 400 today, 2,000 today, 500 today, 6,000 today, 7,500 today. God, we got some ambitious people. I love it.
I love it.
Okay, and you know what? I would be happy to do a 1 hour live like this and generate $200. Do you see what I'm saying? And so what I realize is the more money I make, the more I actually value what it takes to generate that. Okay, so Ash, we're going to start with you. You wanted to
Let's
share
go.
Alfin's story.
Yeah, so we actually last year sometime, do you remember we were talking at one point and we said, hey, what can we provide our audience in a short period of time where they could go from, having zero income, zero revenue to generating movement and revenue. And I said, okay, how long would it really take? And I believe really truly it doesn't take that much time. And I said that to you. I said, I don't really believe it takes that much time for you to go from nothing to something. And I actually want to pull an audible here with Zach's story. You look at Zach's story about just like
Zach is our son, if you don't know who he is.
Yeah, that's right. Zach's our son. And how he was able to generate revenue in his little business he started on our street so quickly, so rapidly. And people think they have to.
Okay, hold on. Write this down. Our son, I told him I would not give it. So you need a limitation. Close your back door. So as he teaches, I'm gonna narrate some of this a little bit because I want this to be teachable. Our intention before we got on was imagine if they could get out of their effing way and generate something today. The longer you wait to take this training, the longer you wait to activate it, the more likely it is that you won't do it. Okay. And so just challenge yourself. Like, who's in? Put a 1 if you're in the chat, put a 1. Who's into just testing this today and seeing if you could generate money? Any amount, $20, $100, 20,000, whatever. Okay. It's all just $1. It's okay. So now Zach, I told him, I closed his back doors. I gave him a prepaid credit card, and I told him I would not give him any more money until he's 12, and I will not. Where he gets no more money till he's 12. If he wants an upgrade or a tour, he's got to use his money.
100%.
Well, he almost blew all of his $240, which is all I gave him till he's 12. He almost blew all of that in a day. So I stopped it as his parent and said, because I got to keep my word, I'm not going to let you spend any more of this money on this prepaid credit card because you're not understanding how to multiply. So he said, I want to do a lemonade stand. So now that's where Ash is at. So now lemonade stand, he had to buy the material.
Yeah, he had to buy the material, the cookie, the lemonade. And what I love about it is that, you think you need to have the perfect location. And this is the difference between an entrepreneur and let's say someone that wants to optimize, which is more me. My wife's more of the entrepreneur. And I'm thinking to myself, I would take him to the boardwalk where there's a lot more people. And Shauna's like, we're just going to do it in front of our house.
Okay, but this is really smart. The boardwalk would have been a great thing. But the reason why I didn't go to the boardwalk is I didn't know what I didn't know. I wanted to just test the model. So you guys who joined our List Power Intensive program or a leadership program, the reason why leadership and list building together is so powerful. It's like, you don't have to get it perfect. So I learned a lot. I'd never done a lemonade stand. We ran out of lemonade like really quickly and I had to go back in the house and make more lemonade. Imagine if we would have been on the boardwalk.
Yes.
Shit, that would have been, if you haven't read the book, Tiny Habits, everybody read it. Tiny Habits. Get the Audible book and put it on fast. It's really good. It's about how to get yourself to develop a habit. So the thought of bringing like 10 lemonade jugs would mean I'd have to go to the store, get the lemonade jugs. Now this feels like, I don't want to do this. This is too much work.
That's right.
Guys, see what I'm saying? So let's just go messy in front of our house, see what happens.
That's right. And so that led to, and listen, and this is one of the things I learned from that moment for entrepreneurs is that exactly that is that you've got to just start. Like some of you are looking at, you got to get it right and get it perfect and get it all outlined properly. But what you really need to do is create an outreach. Doesn't matter how it looks. You got to create an outreach. And when you create an outreach, you have an opportunity to fine tune as you move forward. So next time we'll do an lemonade stand for Zach or have him do something. I'm going to ask him some questions and have him start thinking about where are more people. And so let him figure out where there are more people where he can take it into the next level.
The park.
Yeah, the park, exactly. The park, the boardwalk, there's so many options there. And so what I want you to do is get out of your idea that you have to have it perfect and get it right and just say, where can I go out and find people? So the first step is outreach. And in fact, we taught this, 4-week program when we had Elfie, who's one of our clients. She transitioned within 4 weeks. She went from a boutique store that was going under, that she was worked for many years. Her
We
designer
did this, by the
clothing-
way. We did this, by the way,
In the club.
in the club, which is we have, just to give you context, we have a program called Meant to Be Live. I coach in it and Ash coaches in it, and our friend Rex Crane, who's really good. And in that, we have a training where 6 times a month we train people specifically on selling, and we give it to the Meant to Be Live clients all year long, because if they're not in the step of selling, they don't have to worry about missing those calls. But when they're ready to sell, they have us with them so much in a month that we can hyper focus on it. Do you see what I'm saying? So okay. So number one, outreach. Write that down. Where are your people right now? You guys who have already done our list building program, like Ash and I said, I could send a text while I was putting my hair in a ponytail to my list. And could I open up an opportunity to coach with you guys today? Yes.
Yes.
I guarantee you I could do that. And I could serve you. I mean, Samantha, if I came up with the perfect plan to help you generate $200,000 or $500,000 in this year, and it was super simple and easy to do, then you can take that plan, or I could be your coach. Do you guys think that? Now, I wouldn't hide anything from that strategy. I hate people who train, just give a little bit of the information they got to hire. I hate that shit. I think it's an old way of training, and I think it hurts you. So I rather give Samantha all of here's what you do. Here's the freaking plan. Samantha's like, I got strong leadership. I can do it. Yep. Peace out, Shanda. When I do this, I'm going to come back and work with you. Now, unless Samantha has really good leadership and always completes what she starts, if she does complete what she starts, she will probably come back and work with me. If she doesn't and she holds herself back from hiring me, chances are she doesn't have the leadership to take it to the finish line.
Yeah. And most often, by the way, you'll contract outreach. Back to where you are. So number one is outreach. Some people think they have to have the, that's okay. It's all good. Now I lost my train of thoughts. Trash can. All good. So the first is you got to create outreach. Okay. Help me out, honey. So, all right. So no, I want to talk about this outreach because you talked about something I thought was really awesome. And I made a note here, and that is, selling is not dirty. It's actually service.
Yeah.
So think about like yesterday, like even in the lobby, I was thinking of, wow, they have the outreach to make sure they serve people that lose something or something is gone. Most people that are coming in this space, they have everything they need to go out skiing and right on the slopes, but yet it's right there to serve people. So I want you to you got to transform your thought from reaching out to people is not a burden on them. So you got to transform your conversation that reaching out to people is a burden on people, or I'm going to bother them, or I'm going to interfere with their day or their life, or I'm coming in with something that they may not want from me, because that is selling. When you are in that conversation, you're selling. But when you're in a conversation of, wow, these people are ready for me to serve them. In fact, it's going to help them be more with their family and their friends on the slopes. Or that in terms of Elif's story, she's like, I have really unique products that retailers would benefit from.
Okay, so he's going back right now to the story of Elfin. So in the club, in the club, he was training a group of our clients for a month on how to generate money out of anything. Now you got to keep in mind, most of our clients are either building a list right now or they've built a list. Okay, so now we had to cover the situation. What if you were brand new into our program and you didn't have a list? So now talk about Elfin.
Yeah, and Elif, by the way, this business did not come from her list in this case. She did an outreach in social media. She did an outreach into specific groups. And so she did an outreach in like LinkedIn. She did an outreach in everywhere her clients were, which are buyers of, let's say, retail stores. And from that outreach, she created some connections, which is step number 2.
Well, hold on, Ash. We got to break this down a little bit. So what was her business?
Her business, she's a designer. So she has a clothing line that she used to sell in a boutique, that she transformed from selling in a boutique saying, if I can't have people because of COVID come to my boutique anymore, where are people going to get unique dresses, outfits, etc.?
So she came to us to figure out how to not have her business go under.
Exactly.
And so she invested with us and we helped her. Ash is the one who coached her. What specifically did you tell her to do?
Well, I was coaching the whole community at that time for the 4 weeks, and that Number one, you got to find where your clients are. Who are your ideal clients that are looking for exactly what you're offering, whether it's one-to-one or one-to-many? Who are these ideal clients? And you need to find where they're at. Where are they sitting at? Which communities are they in? Are they in LinkedIn communities? Are they in Facebook communities? Can you reach out to them on Instagram? You got to identify these specific people, and you got to do an outreach. And in many cases, one-to-one is where you got to end up. You got to end up in the one-to-one, which we're going to.
How much money did she make?
She made $250,000.
It's pretty good,
in 4 weeks.
That's pretty good. That's really good. And keeping it simple. Okay, so the first thing we were talking, I was like, for you guys who give advice, masterminds. We have a mastermind coming up April 4th and 5th. Now, we don't let people come into our mastermind and pitch our masterminds because it's our clients' fulfillment, right? And so, but it's a great place if you give advice to find people who have masterminds or events and go just provide content. When you're done providing content, hang out for the rest of the mastermind at the back of the room. And then when people are walking around, smile at them. Because just the simple smile lets people walk up to you and not feel intimidated by you, and actually ask you if they can pick your mind on what you talked about. You book a call with them. Like you pull out your cell phone, say, do you want to talk at 2:00 today, either in the lobby or on a phone call? And that's how you bring it all the way to a completion. We are going to get into a sales conversation on how to lead that, but it's simple. Now, how many of you guys would be afraid to actually go to an event or even go find somebody who has an event to go speak at it? Let's be honest, go in the chat and put me if you would be afraid, right? So that would have been me before leadership. Okay, this is why I push the leadership program so much. I couldn't take advice like this. Some of you guys are watching these trainings, you're like, I can't take that advice. And I don't know what to tell you, but the advice is solid. It's tried and it's true. The challenge is that we have a battle with our leadership. And because we have a battle with our leadership, we can't take the advice. And so do you guys hear what I'm saying? We bounce around our life. Trying to figure out, how do I take advice? There must be another strategy. That's not for me. And that you take yourself out of the game. Don't do that. If you are still sitting on the fence for our leadership program, we are closing down this cart, which means we're closing down the door to this. Can you guys put up the URL just so it's up?
Testing my recording.
Please.
Testing.
Whoever's got background noise, if you can mute your line, that'd be great. If you guys could put up joinlistpower.com. The reason why I'm going to have them put this up is because I want you to be in a situation. First of all, selling is not sleazy. It is serving and helping people. You are not a bother to people. And let me tell you, my mom did our leadership program. She's only done the first part. And she called me last night when we were at dinner. And you know what she said to me? She shared with me how much she is taking responsibility for creating a closer relationship with my husband. Now, let me tell you something. My mother is the person that is out of sight, out of mind. Okay, she doesn't drive any relationships in her life. She is the sweetest human being. Now, I'm going to tell you, she's one of the best salespeople I've ever seen. When she sold furniture, she was always the top saleswoman, never financially free.
Yeah.
Never financially free, because she could not get out of her own way to drive her own vision, because she'd take herself out of the game, her leadership out of the game, and say, I can't do that. That's not me. But yet the fundamental skill of selling, she was so good at. And it was a huge breakthrough. Like, my mom doesn't pick up the phone and call me. I call my mom multiple times a week. And so does her best friend. And we all just know that we have to do that to be in relationship with her. She had a major breakthrough in 3 days that she was like, oh my gosh, I'm the leader of my own life. If I want to be close to Ash, I'm not going to sit there and go, well, how come your husband doesn't call me? I want to be close to him. I love him. I want to have a son. Okay, so do you guys see yourself in this anywhere? Something you want, something that you want in your life that you are a victim to because you're still in a conversation that somebody else hasn't come to you. right? Like you totally outsourced your power without the realization, like maybe your son-in-law would love to have a relationship with you. Maybe you would love that. Maybe he doesn't know how to make that connection. Maybe you don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't, but you get what I'm saying? Like that's her vision. So do you see how much better of a world we live in when we all take responsibility for our own visions? Because now Ash is a huge family man. He would love to be closer to my mom. He would love our families to be even tighter. But if my mom sees that, if you guys see something, if you see it, you are responsible to lead it. Write that down. If you see it, you are responsible to lead it. And you don't get to put that responsibility on somebody else. Okay, so now we're going to get back into selling. Thank God this woman in a retail company didn't say, Shanda and Ash are coaches. I can't do what they say. Right. She took the coaching. Where outreach? Where are your people? I don't have a business yet. Fucking make one up. Excuse me. Make one up. Just make one up.
Figure out where you can serve.
Make
Figure
one
out
up.
where you can serve. Exactly.
But make one up. You know, Barbara, I'm sure you got a ton of wisdom. Nancy, sure you got a ton of wisdom. Carla, I'm sure you got a ton of wisdom. I have told you all, if you'd missed this day, I told everybody on this revenue challenge that every single person can give advice and be paid for it. And some people are like, I don't want to do that. Well, then you get to be the person who's broke. Because I guarantee you there's things you've done in your life. Like he has done sales so good. There are things you've done in your life that literally people would love the advice. I can show you in the List Power program how to find those people and how to generate income right now. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no excuse. Okay. I know you have a plan here, but I really want to ask you this because you do this better than anybody I know. Mm-hmm. When you get a no or not now, or it's not the time, right? Because you guys, who when you get a no, not now, you have the courage to go make an offer to help somebody, to give your services for, you know, where somebody's going to pay you. And somebody says, you know what? That sounds amazing. It's just not the good time for me right now. Who gets that and you stop? Okay, put an S in the chat if you stop. Like at that, let's be honest. Do you pretty much stop at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really beautiful for you to share this because I'm telling you, it's a big deal. Okay, you stop. Okay, so what do you do? Because you are so good at this. Where do you go in your head?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so where do I go? I say that some people stop and also some people go into convincing, and both don't work.
Yeah.
So it's either or. And then there's a third option, which is for me in my head where I go to is, okay, something is off, especially if I know I could serve someone. So if I really know that this is, I got to serve someone, like for example, like if you were to say, I'm not getting these gloves, I would have been like, something is off.
Yeah.
Something is off here. And so in my head,
yeah, because you're going to freeze if you don't wear these gloves.
You're going to freeze or you're going to go back to the room and you're going to be alone and we're going to go skiing and it's going to be sucky either way.
Yeah.
So in my head is like, something is off. That means I haven't created the value. That means I have not portrayed that, or you're not able to see it yet. So for me, it's like almost like the language is simple. It's like, okay, of course you would be a no right now.
Okay, write that down. Of course you would be a no right now, or of course you need to think about it right now. Okay, you need to write that down because that's where you go. Everybody's searching for transitional lines when you're going to help people. That's a transitional line. Okay, and notice where he went in his head to get him to still show up and not shrink back. He's like, oh, use my gloves as an example. Shanda, if you don't buy those gloves, like if you don't buy those gloves, what do you mean sound is off?
Can you guys hear us? Put yes in the chat if you can hear us.
Okay, so Nancy, that might be your computer. So he went in his head. He took responsibility. Remember my mom's story? You see it, you lead it, right? So he's like, Shanda's not getting this, or that customer or client's not getting this. I know my advice or my product or my service can help them, right? I know that my haircut can give them to make them feel good in their body. I know that my clothes can make them X. I know that my advice can create this result, save that marriage, whatever, have them be better parents, whatever, have them be present in their life and not miss their life, whatever you see. And he's like, He's like, okay, she's not getting it. She's not seeing it, but I know that she wants this result. Okay, keep going.
Okay, and then the next stage, and I'm just simplifying this. I say it a million different ways. You can say it a million different ways. The next stage I go to is, okay, from what you know thus far, 1 to 10, and 10 being full, like you see the full value, where are you at in this process? Because I want to know where they're at. I want to authentically know where they're at.
So he surveyed. You guys who have done my list building program, before you create a product, you survey. The steps are the same in sales. They're the same in lead gen. They're the same in conversion. They're the same in growth.
Yeah.
Okay. So he didn't assume the no, not yet, whatever was an insult or rejection. He just went, you're not seeing it yet. And I haven't actually communicated the value yet. Then he transitioned.
And exactly. One of the phrases I actually use is that clearly I haven't done my job yet. I have not shown the full value because I see something you're not seeing. I'll sometimes say that exact words.
Yeah. So, and then you transition. Of course, you're a no yet. You're a no right now. Or of course you still have to think about this.
Of course, there's some hesitancies. I could totally understand that. So it's
when I heard him say that, by the way, the first time, I almost fell on the counter because he was coaching somebody and they were on speaker and he invited them to our Mentor Me Live program. And the person said, they had their objection, but he didn't even change his posture. He was walking and he was about to walk out the door. And he goes, yeah, I mean, I of course you're hesitant on this. It's a big investment and you should be. And I almost fell on the counter because I was like, oh my God, like he has nothing. Like there's nothing in his ego that makes him feel rejected in this moment because his analyzer, you guys who jumped into the life and business program on the joinlesspower.com site, you guys who did life and business, go LB in the chat. So here's what's interesting about you guys. You're going to learn to style flex. He style flexed into his analyzer and supporter. And he was like, there was nothing on him. So he was able to keep moving it forward without it being an awkward moment. Right? Okay, keep going.
So the next question I'll ask is, I want to uncover. So I'm going back in the enrollment dialogue, but more specifically on what we're talking about. And so I want to uncover, I want to dig out details of what's missing. So I'll go, what's between you and being a 10? What's missing for you to see the value? So what I've just done is I went from a generic objection, which is typically time, money, or energy. I'm either sick, I don't have the energy right now, we're too busy with other things. Time, I don't have the time, our company doesn't have the time, with the people that I'm working with, we don't have the time, I have too much going on, you don't know my situation. I don't have the money to invest, I'm not in a position to invest. Money is scarce right now, we don't have the resources to invest. I go from that into, okay, what is really the reason you're saying no? Because if you knew that there's $1 million ahead of you and you're bending over picking up a dollar bill, you would move to the $1 million, wouldn't you? And so sometimes I relate it to story, but I want to discover what is stopping, like what is really the reason they're not stepping forward? Not time, not money, not energy. What is missing for you to see the value, the $1 million value that I got here?
Okay, now let me give you a different transition on the same thing, right? So you'll see that successful leadership, moving into sales, whatever, you make offers all the time. I demonstrate it, right? You make offers all the time because there's always your customers and clients are processing. They're just processing. I mean, who's ever not jumped into an offer and then it's not available anymore? And it's like, I wish I would have done that. Or who didn't step up last year in some area of your life, and you just missed the opportunity and you're like not any better off today, right? Go in the chat, just say yes. Right. I've done that. And I learned from my mistakes on that. I'm like, no, Ash says, Shanda, you squeeze the juice out of everything. Right. I step in and I'm a yes all the time. Now, the way that I transition on this piece, if somebody hasn't, they clearly haven't seen the value to say yes to me yet. And I know this is all under the authenticity of integrity.
Totally.
Okay, so this isn't about getting people, convincing people, because they will just back out anyway. Okay, this is about, that you can help this person. Okay, then your responsibility is to lead it a lot stronger than you're leading it. So what I say is and I actually taught this on Dean and Tony Robbins' platform a couple weeks ago. Ask this question, and it takes deep humility. Takes deep humility. Okay. You know, Tammy, what was missing?
in our conversation.
What was missing in our conversation that if I would have the conversation or my Mentor Me Live program or my list building program or my leadership program, you just put it in there, right? What was missing that if I would have said it or provided it? You should all be writing this down, Laura.
So good.
What was missing in this conversation or this, Mentor Me Live product or this list building product, right? That if I would have added it, you would have been able to say yes. What was missing? I'm just curious. I lead it just like that, how I just kind of said a couple things, just like that. And then I wait for Tammy to respond to me. Now, this is powerful. If you want to be sold out today, meaning that you want to make some money today, if you ask this question with anybody, if you did the outreach, like Ash said, which takes humility, right? It takes, you gotta put in some effort. It actually takes more controller energy, which is drive to get yourself to do it. But then when you actually talk to somebody, which everybody can talk to someone today and make an offer, even if you don't know, even if you've never provided that offer before, you can make it up, write it down, make sure you deliver it. Okay. Now you ask that question, what was missing from this conversation or this list power program, that if I would have provided it, you would have been able to say yes. Now, Tammy would tell me what that was. Now I have a moment. Now, can I think quickly on my feet? Some of you guys can, some of you guys can't. If you can't, I literally write it down on a piece of paper. I just write down what Tammy said on a piece of paper while I'm talking to her. I always have paper beside me. Always, even right here, I have paper beside me. So I lean down to write. And I write down what Tammy said. If I can think on my feet, I'm going to throw that in right now. Okay, so I'm going to say, you know what, Tammy, I think based on our conversation that you're right. You do need that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw that in right now. And I repeat her words. You should write that down. I repeat her words. I do not come up with my own words. And the reason why is because what you heard and what she said, there's a good chance there's a breakdown in that. Because a lot of times people don't hear what people say. You know that. Okay, it happens in relationships all the time. Miscommunication. So write it down, and then you just repeat her words or his words, and then you say, so are you ready to move forward now? And Tammy will say yes. Because what is Tammy going to say? No.
Yeah.
She actually gave you the honest, every single person here, you do not have a money decision, and neither do your customers or clients. And if you don't believe me, when I invested $21,000 in a real estate investment course, I was losing all 3 of my homes, getting foreclosure notices on my door. Trust me, my logic said pay your mortgage. But my heart said, if I don't invest in this program, I'm not going to be good in 2 months from now. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I have to figure out how to fish, not how to just pay my bills. Like it's not getting any better. I need to figure out how to generate income. And it was $21,000. I had never had $21,000 in my bank account ever in my life when I invested this. You know what I'm saying? And I found it on 2 text messages to people to generate the money. And I said I'd pay them 30% on their money in a year. I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I knew I needed that product or that program. Some of you guys know you need my List Power program. You need leads. You need leadership. You need to stop holding back. You hear what I'm saying? So you have to lead like this because your customers and your clients and the people that you're working with, they are facing the same thing you're facing. So you must find them, which you guys who have done our List Power program, you're good to go. Send a text or email, right? Open up, open up to just help people. Even if you don't know what you're offering, which I know many people do, I just take it to the lowest denominator, right? Get into a conversation and just see if you can help them around a topic. Discover. And then just make them an offer. And then know that they're probably going to say no. Actually, they probably don't say no. They probably say it's not the right time. I don't have the money or whatever. That's not true. It just means you haven't you're still in the process of getting clear, some of you guys yourself. So get clear with them and ask them the question, what was missing in this conversation? What was missing in this offer that I just gave you? That if I would have offered it, if I would have provided it, I say it just like this, then you would have been able to say yes. This training right now can generate income for everyone. That is not an income claim. Okay, I'm just saying it could, if you actually just follow these simple steps and have the humility to be wrong, the humility to be rejected, the humility to just ask. And people will tell you, the greatest entrepreneurs in the world don't worry about launching a product too early. They don't worry about it because they know they're going to ask enough questions over the course of the first couple of weeks to a month that they're going to refine their product offering based on the audience that tells them how to do it. What are you hearing us say? Go in the chat. Let us know. What are you hearing us say? Go in the chat. Let us know what you're hearing us say. Right? So it's always about them. The audience tells you what they want. You know, just start now. Be uncomfortable. Stop waiting for the perfect time to launch it. Right. Know your audience. Right? Like even now, everybody look at the chat. Everything everybody wrote is a build.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think I know all these answers every time I go make an offer? No. And the bigger your audiences get, the more personality traits you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, and then on top of it, let's be honest, you also have everybody's trauma.
That's right.
Right?
Trauma and drama.
You got trauma and drama going on at the same time. And so your audience, this is why leadership is so important and why we added it to the business life package. So I want all your products and services to build. Like the reason why people think I'm in your heads is because I've asked enough questions to refine my offering. And so now we're a jet plane.
That's right.
Right now we're a jet plane and it's like we're on point all the time. But you know what? When COVID hit, we had to stop selling money and we had to start selling take action, leading, selling. We had to start selling the take action conversation. Now we're back into people want to make money, right? Now we're back into people want to make money. Okay, so let's talk about courage for a second.
Okay.
So you got a great demonstration on courage.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this is dead in the water without the courage. Who needs courage right now? Go put a C in the chat. Who needs courage? Let's be honest. Let's be humble. Let's have deep humility. I trust you more than I trust the people who sit there and know it all. I trust you more than I will ever trust somebody who knows it all. Mm-hmm. You know, because courage is something that every great human being stretching to the next level must have. And you must walk into it. So share your story.
Yeah, for me, I think I'd failed in business before.
Yeah.
I'd failed in business before multiple times. And I remember when we first met, I was in this space of like having to make a decision. And it was really not a decision, even though I made a decision at the time.
Go for it.
You know, babe, it was a decision. I know. It was a decision. It was really a decision.
Private joke.
Yeah, it was really a decision. And I remember I felt like I'd worked hard to get to somewhere in my career, and I was doing so well, what I felt well financially, yeah. Status, all that stuff that comes with it. And our company was in the midst of a transition. We were selling a company, and
the company he was working for was selling.
We're selling, yeah. And so I was looking at, okay, I'm part of this deal. This is everything I wanted. And at the same time, there was my, at the time, girlfriend and our son. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And I had to be willing to let go and be courageous of like saying, okay, really the truth is, I want so much more in life than this job. And I wanted to, and leaving that safety, that security, that all that it comes with in that role, letting that go to, you know, and I'm going into like a place of like total unknown. and starting in business and committing to a relationship at a whole different level, moving.
He was walking through multiple moments of commitment.
That's right.
Committing to me, committing to move to San Diego, committing to like chasing his dreams, to be able to start a business. And by the way, every wrong decision, everybody write this down. I want you to plaster on your wall because we have a whole nother week of the revenue challenge. We are going to close down this offer. So this offer is going away. So if you're thinking about it, get in today. I'm going to throw in where how many of you guys, I just thought about this, and actually this is a great example. I shouldn't just offer this unless I ask. How many of you guys, if I was to give you a training on a sales conversation that I know converts like crazy, it's super simple. Anybody can follow it. My 6-year-old follows it. I guess he just turned 7. He follows it. How many of you guys would love it if I threw in a bonus training around this for anybody who jumped into the List Power program, right? Because this is about you taking on responsibility. Right. I can't keep carrying you. You have to carry you. And then we need to get out on the world together, empowered, knowing how to generate our leads, knowing how to sell, and knowing how to lead ourselves. So we play bigger than just are like covering our bills. Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay, so here's what I'll throw in. If you guys have already jumped into the List Power, whether it's the business package, which is me just training you how to do List Power, or the business in life, which includes leadership, go to the page below on the link. You can see the descriptions on that page, okay? If you already jumped in, I'm going to give this to you. And I literally thought about it when we were walking downstairs in the lobby today. That's how fresh this is. Like, you know what, if I could just teach them this 5-step process, anybody can do it. I taught it to Zach. Anybody can do it. And it would make this really consistent. So here's what I'm going to do. If you jump in today, or you've already jumped in, I'm going to train you. I haven't trained this in like probably 5 years. I will train you how to do this. I will be your trainer. I will be your coach. I will train you how to do this, how to actually, it'll probably take me about 3 hours to be able to train you. We'll role play it. Ash, you know what we could do? I'm creating this on the spot right now. And not the training, but we can actually break people into breakouts with you, me, Sasha, Amy, some of our clients that are millionaires, right? That are using this process. We'll break you up into breakouts, and we can actually do role playing in the breakouts, which will have you learn really fast. Are you guys good with that? Yes? Okay, so in April, I'm going to throw this in. If you jump in today, okay, we're closing down this offer. So it's just time to make a decision. If you think I can effectively show you how to reach more people and enroll, increase your monthly income, your daily income, have it become consistent, systems in your life that become consistent, then go ahead and go to joinlistpower.com. Okay, if you have a leadership problem, which in all realms just means that you don't trust yourself at the level that you need to, or you have a hard time trusting yourself, investing in things because maybe things haven't worked out in the past, or maybe you're in a freaking relationship that you're still not getting married because you're pretending like somehow your past hurt is going to come into your new hurt. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you're just stuck in some areas in your life, take the business life package. Okay, take the business life package. It's $2,200. That's normally a $5,000 program. Plus, I'll train you how to list build. Grab that. I even have a payment plan underneath at the bottom if you need me to finance that. But this is it. Like this offer is going away. And you're not going to see this offer in 6 months from now, in 5 months from now, in 10 months from now. This page is going bye-bye. So I will throw in that training on I had to simplify things. I don't like things that are complicated. And I had to simplify my sales conversation. Now, can I tell you how many people have ripped off my sales conversation and now are professional salespeople because they can make a lot of money? You're not allowed to do that, but I'm telling you, so many people have gone and done that because it's so simple, it works. And you could take someone who is broke and can actually use this system and be able to generate income. Now, again, this is not an income claim. I wish I could give you an income claim, but they'll shut my doors if I do that. So your leadership is the X factor on being able to do this. This is why I highly encourage leadership on that page. That's the business and life package. So Courage, you had to jump out you had to make a decision and jump out of your job to start your own thing. And every 100%. Wrong decision leads to a right. Okay, so every wrong decision leads to a right. I'm only sharing that with you because he had to scrutinize over, I got this great job. Do I leave it to be able to start something?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that conversation looks different for everybody. You know, sometimes it's like, well, I have this lumps of money, I don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
Okay. I have all this time right now that I don't want to let go. Like, what would it look? So I think it looks a lot of different ways. And here's what just opened up for me in a second. And this is what's important is that, I used to you used to say, I need you to be committed. Remember those conversations? And I'm like, I am committed. I'm just committed the way I want to be committed. and the truth is, if you really want to truly stand in a commitment, you've got to be courageous.
Yeah.
You can never be committed unless you're willing to be courageous with your, with your finances, with your time, with your money, with your energy, with the way you have life and the way you want it to look like. So you're committed to something. You may not be committed to exactly the thing you want and need, which is what I wanted as a family.
And I think I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Which is what I wanted. I wanted a family, but yet I was more committed to quote unquote a job and fear of losing something to really stand in a courageous state of committing to something brand new. And what's crazy is, remember you told me.
So good.
Remember you told me once, you said, well, your mom says you want to be a coach. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be a coach. I have a great career. I have no need to be a coach in any way. Yet that commitment, that commitment and that courageous act of that, when you were doing that, when we were in that mastermind, I was pacing back and forth.
Yeah.
Should I stay? Should I leave? Should I stay? And I came to you and said, I don't think I should have anything. I am leaving, Shanda.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, you make so much money. I'm like, no, I'm leaving. I'm going to move on.
I didn't say you're making so much money. I remember he kept asking me for permission. Some of you guys are asking people you love for permission. And you know what? It's really hard for people you love to give you permission to do something, because until you stand up like he did, and he walked to the table and he slammed his hands on the table and he said, I have to do this. I have to do this. And I was like, all right, I got your back. Let's go. But like, until he did that, he was risky. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Until he did that, how can someone get behind you? So this is for all of you guys. How many of you guys have a spouse or a life partner or a boyfriend or girlfriend, somebody in your life that, even a parent, maybe you're living with a parent, whatever, somebody in your life that you need their support and you keep asking them for their support. Maybe you need them to invest in you financially. Maybe you need them to invest in you emotionally. And so a lot of you guys, okay, so listen to this story, because stories are what sell. Your story sells. And when you're not courageous enough to walk through your story and have a win, you cannot lead anybody, because your customers or clients are coming up on your story. Do you see what I'm saying? What gives him the authority is moments like this. Instead of staying in his comfort zone, he kept asking me, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? He did the list building program. How much money did you generate right after the list build?
$60,000.
60? Mm-hmm. $60,000. He did it just testing me.
4 hours a week to just say, can I be in this relationship? Are we not in integrity?
Yeah, he thought I was a coach selling snake oil. And so he took the list building program, did $60,000. I'm not saying you'll do $60,000. I'm saying he did it, right? And he had a full-time job. And so that was his test to see if I should even date this girl. Then he ends up, now he's still, so like the Bible says, like, I show you all these miracles and all these healings and you still question me. Like, so he generates this income. Now he's in this contemplation. Do I leave my job? Right. And all he's thinking about is what I'm going to lose. So write this down. What are you going to gain if you go all in? What are you going to gain? You better grab on to what you're going to gain, because that creates a vision that pulls you forward. What are you going to gain if you start that jewelry business? What are you going to gain if you start a consulting business? What are you going to gain if you sell your advice just as a way to fund the business you want? Right? Like, you want to do this, but like, you got to get funding money. Why don't you just build a list, sell your advice around something? I can show you in the List Power program. In the List Power program, I train you live for 3 days. We're doing it in March. We're doing it in a week, I think, from now, next week. I think it's the week after. The week after next week. So you're 2 weeks away from me showing you how to figure out what to sell. right? And how to actually build that list. 2 weeks away from that. Oh, like, and so it's like, what do you need to sell in order to, and you could do this with your advice, in order to just generate $60,000. Not saying you will, but I'm saying $60,000 to be able to do it. So now he's in a moment where he's like, I'm going to quit my job, but shouldn't I? You know what? Your partners, the people that love you, cannot make that decision for you. And if you feel resistance from them, it's because, back to the conversation Ash led in sales, it means you have not done a strong enough job at articulating the value of you going all in. And they cannot get behind you. Do you see how everything's leadership? They cannot get behind you unless you slam your hands on the couch and say, I got to do this. And then they're like, ooh, hey, there's something different here. You're leading different. I need your support. I need you to love me. I need you to invest in me. I need you to whatever.
Believe
and then
in me,
you
yeah.
figure out, what do you need to hear from me right now? What do you need from me to be able to invest in me emotionally? What do you need to hear from me to be able to invest in me financially? Do you guys see how this works everywhere? Everywhere. And then so when Ash showed up like that, he put me in a position where I could trust him. Now, he doesn't do that business anymore. I wish he did. It was called High Burst. And I sold it like crazy from our events because I used it, because when I speak, I lose my voice. I still think there's a moment where High Burst is coming back. We own the patent. We own all of the stuff with it. I still think it's coming back. I just think that was part of his transition out. His real calling opened up from that, which was the day he came to me and said, again, Shanda, I've done so much of this leadership program before we ever owned it. He was really into another company, helping them build. And he's like, I can't do anything but help these people lead and build themselves up. I'm really good at it. I'm really good at breaking people through. We should do this. And so we ended up acquisitioning the company and doing that, like bringing this company into our company and actually building out a leadership program. Does that make sense? We acquired it in our mind. We acquired it in our soul. We started to see we're responsible for leading it. And trust me, I didn't want another product or service. So as you're starting to build out this money game, your customers, it all starts with your list. Your customers and your clients. Like, the reason why we have to say go on your outreach is because that is the first step for you to make money today. We gave you a sales conversation as far as the things that you could say to move the conversation forward. But you could imagine if it was that much easier if you could just send an email or text message right now, soon as you hung this up, and you could what if you could talk to 10 people today? Like, that's what's possible. And so now you could be out grocery shopping and have earphones in. Do you know how many people I've taught how to stop being intense? I probably shouldn't say this, but to go for a drive in their car and just put it on like Bluetooth and have a sales conversation. You know why? Because you can't think about yourself and drive at the same time. So I've taught so many people how to break through financially after teaching them what my daily bonus is, which is how to structure a sales conversation. The only reason why it doesn't work is your intensity. Do you guys see what's starting to percolate? I'm hoping an aha moment. I'm hoping you realize that you could lead your relationships differently so more people support you. I'm hoping you can realize that you don't have to have the perfect product or service. You just need to talk to someone and then ask them what's missing. And they'll tell you. And whether or not you can think on your feet and make that offer right there, or you write it down and then circle back up with them later on in the afternoon, what would I say? I'd say, Carla, I was thinking about our conversation earlier today. I might send you a text. Carla, I was thinking about our conversation earlier today. I would not send her a novel on text. Okay. And like, I'd like to throw in what we talked about and give you this. Let me know if you're in. You know, that text message could generate her a $9,000 client. You know, this is why if you actually offered your advice, you could generate money today. You generate everybody. I'm not saying you have to offer your advice. Some of you guys know what you're offering. you know your network marketing company, you know your products and services, you know you're a real estate agent, you know your insurance person, you know what you're offering. But there's no excuse for you not to be able to generate money because everybody has life experience. Every single person. My son wants to teach people how to become a hacker in Minecraft, which is a game. And he's like, he wants to train people. So he's asked me to help him create videos to train people. Is that my desire for him? Heck no. Right? But just getting him into the game so he can experience, you know, what he experiences and continue to practice selling lights me up. You know why? Because there is no amount of schooling that will protect him better than that. There just isn't. If he decides to go to college, which Google many years ago stopped hiring college and university graduates. However, I know there are jobs that you need a college and university degree. I would never stop him, and I would never put my limitations on him. It's his vision. But if he decides to go to college, when he gets out, he's going to have a big ass bill. See what I'm saying? Because I'm not paying for his college. He's going to have to pay for it. I want him to fight his way through so that as he becomes an adult, I want my son to be able to have courage to move himself through everything that he's afraid of. And I want him to realize that every failed decision gives us more clarity to move forward powerfully. And if you are afraid of failure, and I am afraid of failure, and he is afraid of failure, and all the generations behind us are afraid of failure, then we're screwed. Because we better hand everything over to the government at that point, because obviously they'd be able to lead better than we can lead. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So if you want your freedom back, and you want to be able to stand powerfully and be able to generate income, whatever country you live in, God bless Australia, not being able to actually leave or do anything. You know, if I could sit at home and if I was marketing in Australia, I'd be making a ton of money. Why? Everybody's at home. Do you guys realize when COVID hit, the amount of wealth that got created by people who marketed online was off the charts if they could lead themselves? It was off the charts. Why? We all sat at home. I mean, they're continuously, if you can change your perception, if you could change it, you need to start looking at what do you gain, not what do I lose in isolation? What do I lose by not seeing my family? You can't think about that because then you can't get up off the middle of the living room floor. You're in the fetal position. And that means you don't have what it takes to lead. You got to get up, and the way you lead is go, what do I gain? What did I gain when COVID hit? I gained a captive audience. I gained highest attendance records I had ever seen. I gained insane profit margins in my company. I gained it was insane. It was insane. And now what am I battling? Well, the world's open again. Most of the world. Canada, sorry, most of you guys are not open, right? Or Australia, but we're open in America. And Europe is opened up in a lot of places as well. And so now what happens at my captive audience, your captive audience, is now back out. So now what am I doing? I'm looking at how many of you guys are watching on mobile and how many of you guys watching on desktop. So I'm on the gain. I don't write font that's less than 17 font size. Why? Because most of us are reading stuff on our cell phones. Do you know how hard it is to read something and make it bigger? Do you guys see what I'm saying? You guys in List Power Intensive, I'm going to teach you all this stuff. And you're going to see just from these small little tweaks, like changing the font size, you will earn more income. But we need to lead differently. We need to think differently. And when we do, we see these huge explosions happen. Something simple as changing a font size. Do you know if I send the same email out at a 13 font size, everybody just go to your phones. You don't have to do it right now, but you go to your phone and see everybody in your email inbox that has 13 font sizes, you're making it bigger. Just pay attention to how long you keep reading that email. You don't. You close it. It's too much of a pain in the ass to move your email around to read the whole thing. You get vertigo. Change it to 17 font size and people can just read the whole thing, click to buy. You guys who have blogs, you should be writing a paragraph, click through to my blog. Why? Because you're teaching people how to buy. teaching people how to trust. There's all this information that just makes things so much easier to enroll, to sell, to lead, to make a difference in the world, in the area that you care about. But if you keep doing it the long way, which is the trial and error, I don't know about you, but I look at the runway to my life and I'm just like, I want to spend more of it on the ski slopes. I want to spend more of it having money that I can hire people who are better than me in certain areas of my business to help more entrepreneurs. And the new entrepreneur, you new entrepreneurs are the people who have a job that either you're going to be laid off or you have been laid off, or you just have a drive that you've realized that I love my career, but I want to generate more money to be able to pay for my financial future. And so you're going to start a side hustle. Okay, so a side hustle or an entrepreneur, everybody should be earning $300,000 a year, in my opinion. And the reason why is $300,000 a year is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. What you can do with that is incredible. What you can do with that with multiplying your income is off the charts. So as we wind down today's training, go in the chat and tell us what opened up for you. What was the big point that opened up for you? Go in the chat and share that with us right now. What is the one point that really opened up for you? Okay. And just go in the chats and just share that with us right now. Just get started. 32, I can make an offer right now. Yes. Focus on the gain. That's huge. Focus on the gain, right? Grab whatever piece moves your leadership forward. For some of you guys, it's to make a decision to stop wasting time and to let me train you in the List Power program. Some of you guys, it's that. Some of you guys already jumped in and said, I'm ready now. As we wind down this tomorrow, we're not going live. I'm going to be at the spa all day with my girlfriend. We're not going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to go hit the slopes with my friends in like an hour. We're meeting downstairs. And then the last thing I want to share with you is next week, because we're streaming live, they censor things. We will be working on digital currency next week, how to multiply your income, things like that, even if you don't have a bunch of it, right? So we're going to work on that next week. So every time somebody makes an offer, it's like the group kind of goes, oh, there's nothing more for us. There's lots more for you. I'm going to keep my word and keep training revenue all next week. All next week, we're going to keep training revenue, and we're going to start working on some multiplication of income. How do you multiply? I can't read that right now. How do you multiply? I know. How do you multiply your income? Now, here's what's really cool. Cassie Pear. We watched your video on how you've been following this revenue challenge and how you turned your real estate company where you started to make some great income. Did anybody see Cassie Pear's video yesterday? If you didn't, go look her up in the Coach Yourself to Success for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. The Coach Yourself to Success for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. Cassie Pear, I'm going to buy you a Louis Vuitton purse. And either you're going to wear it beautifully and just love it, and let it be a reminder that your vulnerability and your leadership in taking action puts you in a position where you can generate money like you just did. It puts you like this small amount of like tweaking, even how we lead a conversation today. She's been taking these trainings seriously, and she's been taking action, which is her leadership. So the only reason why some people create the results and other people's don't is leadership. It's leadership. It really is. It's how they take action. Can you get yourself out of your own way to do it anyway? You can hear that advice until the clouds come home from every personal development, Think and Grow Rich book on the planet. But the reason why you won't do it is leadership. So Cassie Pear, I'm excited to buy you this purse. Suzanne, my executive assistant, is very excited to go shopping for you. You can pick if you want a brown one or if you want a really pretty gray and white one. It's the never full bag. It's so awesome. I have two and I love them. I never ever travel without them. You know how I got myself to buy one? True story. I had my son And I said, I'm going to have a stylish diaper bag. I've never used it as a diaper bag once. That's how I had to enroll myself to go spend the money on this purse. So I share that with you humbly to say, I am always working on my own self-worth. I'm always working on paying myself first. I'm always working on becoming more generous with you. And we're in this together. So I'm just going to encourage you as we're shutting down this offer, like it's the last, we're shutting down this offer. And so I just want to tell you, trust yourself. Trust me. I got your back. I know I got the goods to help you cross the line. I've got great success stories, and I just know that you're capable of it. And so join listpower.com. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll and make a decision to jump in if you're still sitting on the fence. If you've already jumped in, you know what would be really powerful is to share on the chats, I jumped in. Here's why. Here's why. I jumped in. Here's why. I jumped in. Here's why. The reason why I share that with you is no different than sharing my husband's story about how he got me to get behind him. Like what it took for me to support him as a girlfriend at the time, and then a future wife, and to stand behind him as he invested in himself and quit his job. It's moments like that, your decision making, right? Your story, this is part of your story. It's decisions like that that help other people have the courage to put themselves first, to trust themselves again when other things have not worked. Okay, to lay it all on the line and go in. So I jumped in because, go in the chats and share that. I jumped in because I needed help with my leadership and start playing large in life. Shandon Ash, thank you so much. You two light up my day, and I appreciate your support, advice, and mentorship. Love you guys, and I love this team. I traded my Peloton. Gloria, she won the Peloton in this challenge. I traded my Peloton that I won for enrolling in the Business and Life program because I will serve my leadership better to help get my mission of training 1 million women. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, your vision is possible. I'm telling you, we just need to get you out of your own way. And I know that we can do that in the leadership program. I know we can. My husband and I would not be married today if it wasn't for that leadership program. A whole nother pack of wolves I can open up. You just need to trust yourself. Okay, dust your shoulders off and get yourself back in the game. Go to joinlistpower.com. Either grab the business package and I'll just train you how to build a business, or grab the business and life, and our leadership program will help you get out of your own way, and I'll train you how to build a business. It's got more of an insurance plan. You know what you need. Some of you guys don't need leadership. You're good to go. Then don't take it. I'm not trying to sell you more. I'm just trying to make it available. If you know what you need. But for God's sakes, don't sit on these calls and go, shoot, I know they can help me, and you're still not having the courage to jump in. That's a dangerous move, because where will you be in a year from now if you don't take action now? Where will things be better? Are you on a trajectory for things to be better? If you are, then awesome. You're fine with taking the time to get there. You lead your thing. But if you're like in a year from now, if things keep going the way they've been going, I'm going to be in trouble. Then you better go to joinlistpower.com and make a decision on where you're going. I jumped in the first day because I have to change up my clothing business. I started 40 years ago and launched a new one. I also need to rebuild a house, and I need money for that. I'm going to come up with the money so I can transform this house and make it beautiful. And so it is. All right, you guys, there's many dreams on this live right now. And it's really cool when you become a success story and we bring you up on the platforms. You guys who are doing the List Power program, we will be bringing our clients in, and our clients will be sharing what they're doing with these lists and how they're monetizing them. So you are now a part of a bigger game. And that bigger game is called Let's Transform This World. All right, you guys, no live tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday. So watch the Facebook groups and the lives online, and just keep reminding people who seem to miss the emails or the text messages, or you get what I'm saying. We'll be back on Monday, 7 a.m. California time, Monday, and I'll talk to you soon. If you just watch the replay of this later, because you're in another time zone, put hashtag replay, because I always love to see. All right. Who are my people I get to work with? Go put me in the chat. Nancy, Carla, Sandra, who are my people I get to work with? So good. Okay, so I think we have 16 spots. Okay, you guys, we have 16 spots to work with Sasha and Matt today. Obviously, that's not many. Okay, we have 16 spots if you want to get a coaching session. Okay, so who wants a coaching session? Put C in the chat. Put C in the chat. Okay, so when the chat stop, my team, so that, okay, great. Okay, slow that down, close that down for a sec. So I got 16 spots, so get ready to hit the link. Okay, I got 16 spots. If you're a Meant to Be Live, just stick with the Meant to Be Live coach. You know, we got you on there. Okay, so I just say that to my year-long clients because it doesn't make sense for them to get coached by Sasha and Matt today. And so, but if you're in the List Power program, you're in the leadership program, or you just haven't jumped into anything and you just need some coaching, I'm sorry I only have 16 spots, but I only have 2 coaches that are willing to work today to support you, and they'll take off a different day. So can you guys drop the link to the Coach's Corner? Right. The link to the Coach's Corner has been dropped. Open that up, grab a coaching session. There are only 16 spots available. That's just 2 coaches that are available to support you today. Don't be frustrated about the loss if you don't get a spot on the loss, okay? Don't worry about that. Just focus on what we gained today. And if you did happen to get one of the 16 spots, then congratulations on that. All right, my friends, I'm gonna go hit the slopes now and have a little fun. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, Jen.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the
The slopes.
Amazing.
The slopes.
Thank you. Have fun.
Thank you.
Bye, Rob.
Thank
you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you.
you.